Morning from Tucson, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good, thank you. Hello.
Hi, Beth.
Hi.
Right before Rob gets on, let me just give a little bit of the market update. Bonds are actually coming down a little bit, I think in anticipation of the Fed cut in the next couple of weeks. So pricing on our end has gotten much better. We're seeing some downtick in the mortgage rates. We probably picked up about 25 basis points in a reduction in interest rates. So rates are actually starting to trend down. We know that when the Feds do cut the rates, whether it's a quarter or a half coming in 2 weeks, that doesn't necessarily mean rates go from 6.5 to 6.25. It does directly affect your car loans, your student loans, and credit card debt, but it does not have a direct effect on mortgage rates. But leading up to the cut, the bond market does like what it sees. It's still dicey. We're picking up a little bit of steam right now, so rates are actually coming down. So those folks that are pre-approved, they might be pre-approved for maybe 25, $50,000 more. So have them just reevaluate their pre-approvals to see if they get a little bit more in price. Also, in Florida, the Hometown Heroes program is still available. I mean, the funds are, they do run out quick, but if they don't qualify or they can't get the funds for that, we do have down payment assistance programs that mimic the Hometown Heroes. So yeah, just reach out to us if there's anything that we can do. Other than that, that's about it for the market side. So enjoy, have a happy and healthy and safe weekend.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Can everybody hear me?
Hey, Rob.
Hey, how's it going? All right. So I'm brave. I'm doing this in the passenger seat on a highway in Spain. So I want to talk about it's kind of a logical progression from our last week's session about like what do the consumers really want. And I wanted to share with you that we will benefit by first self-discovering what our unique value is and, how to amplify that through using our personal brand with the Remax brand. Okay. Because, um, being at Remax does not give you a entitlement to be successful. I think it does, if you leverage it correctly, it makes it a little bit easier for your personal brand to excel and to amplify. I want to do a recap about what um, the public wants and what's the most sought after, all the way to the least relevant differentiators that the public is looking for. The first one is consistent with what we talked about last week, which is honesty and trustworthiness. And, I would say that, being part of a established brand that the public knows has, more experience and better value will make that a little bit easier, but it certainly doesn't do it for you. Okay. Um, Number two, experience and track record. You need to be able to have in your arsenal of communication the ability to convey to people how your experience is relevant to helping them get what they want. Um, on the attachment, I gave you a lot of other things like reputation and reviews, responsiveness and communication, negotiation skills, so on and so forth. The one thing that I found to be interesting that wasn't on there is, what I would call product knowledge. And what I mean by that is, knowledge of home construction, things of that nature. That's not on that list, which is really interesting to me. Um, I would think they'd want people who would have a little bit stronger knowledge on, yeah, 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 on products and how home construction is, things of that nature. Um, so going back to how do we connect the dots and use the national brand to build upon our brand. We need to practice and be intentional in understanding how consumers process what we say and what we do, and how we say and how we do it better. We need to have consistency between our words and our actions. We need to have transparency. We need to, and these are things from the that real estate report that they do, the NAR annual report. We need to listen a lot more than we do talking. And if you remember, the person that's in control of any situation is the person that's doing what?
Asking the questions.
Asking the questions.
Correct. And when you're asking the questions, it shows that the client is important to you. It allows them to talk, which they love to do, and it shows that you're attentive to what their needs are. Non-aggressive, non-pushy behavior. Okay. Appropriate body language and tone. Third-party validation, which is very interesting because in the quest for trustworthiness, we think Zillow reviews are it, or Google reviews, but that happens to be number 7. Humility and admitting when you make mistakes. And these are all in that attachment that I gave to you. It was included with the email that went out today. Let me just scoot down to some of the other. Integrating the Remax brand into our personal brand. Okay. And I want to use the story that my coach Wayne Einhorn uses all the time, and similar to a story that Abe Himmelstein uses, which I'll call the coffee story. Okay. If you're traveling to a unfamiliar location and you go out and you want to grab yourself a cup of coffee, we probably have a bunch of people here that are Dunkin' fans. We have some of my clan that are Starbucks fans. So you go out of the hotel, you see a Dunkin' Donuts, you see a Starbucks, and you see 2 local coffee shops. What coffee shop are you going to if you want to have a consistent product? Anybody?
Starbucks, the brand.
Right, it's a brand, because you don't want to take a chance of maybe getting a really lousy cup of coffee. So, Remax is that secondary reinforcement, and something that I'm going to admit not doing a great job of is integrating how the Remax brand and its global presence can benefit, consumers even in the landlocked state of Arizona. Right. And you may not have that many, foreign buyers and sellers. I don't know, maybe just Canadians. Is that it, Wilson?
We have mainly Canadians as our foreign buyers.
So, well, and I guess Canadians are really important, because I think Remax for years has had the #1 brand position in Canada. So if somebody is relocating from Canada or is buying a second home here, do you think that Remax is going to have a more significant influence or impact than EXP, Keller Williams, Compass? You name all those other companies, Remax is going to have that brand advantage for our friends up north. And we need to figure out how we integrate that into our success. Does anybody do a good job of doing that now that you want to share? Go ahead, Wilson.
I'd love to share that yesterday I closed 2 homes from the Remax referral network. And it was based on just using the brand and knowing that both clients called their former realtors with Remax and said, I need a Remax agent in Tucson. It wasn't even a discussion of who else they were going to go with. It had to be a Remax agent. And then I used the Remax network to market myself in a way that they were able to find me, and it ended up connecting for, just shy of 800,000 in business.
Big congratulations to you on that, and thank you for sharing. A little trivia: who knows how many different countries Remax is in? Because we're all Remax people. Anybody want to put in the chat how many different countries Remax is in?
111.
We have one guess of 111. Anybody else?
110.
And 110.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe the latest is 140 plus. And nearly 150,000 agents. Okay. And in every single survey, ever since I've been involved with Remax, was since 1996, the end of 96, beginning of 97. Do you know what one thing has been consistent that entire time? It's like running the ropes. Come on, somebody must know this one. Like when you go on the Max Center, you look at the collateral material. Where does Remax always stand? Where does Remax always have the advantage?
I think the recognition, brand
Transact.
recognition.
Productivity per agent.
What category do
Yeah,
they
so-
not, except for maybe agents worldwide?
So thank you, Jason. So I think it was was it Beth, Sue, or Glenn? You had said productivity per agent. Okay, that's the big one. Now that's a pretty good benchmark to be associated with, isn't it? To be part of the network with the most productive agents. And if you look over the years, it's probably, 50% to 120% higher than its next closest competitor, which to me is huge. Now, Wilson, going to somebody and saying, "Hey, I'm part of the Remax network, we're more productive," is that going to get you any business?
No.
Not by itself. You need to be
Nope.
how to connect. You need to be able to learn how to connect that and to use it to build your personal brand. Okay. Um, we call it connecting the
Rob,
dots in real estate.
if I
Good.
can add one thing, I think you said this, I think it was 4 masterminds ago, where and it was something that I attached to and it really connected for me with listings. Um, upping my listing count to the point that I just had to buy new signs 2 days ago. Of the two things that I now have them look at is when you're comparing agents, looking at the days on market versus the uh, closed ratios, but also then the list to sale price ratios. Those two things that Remax does absolutely hold their own in any market has absolutely shown the difference of a global brand versus a local brand. And personally, it's won me 3 listings in the last month.
I think you're modest. I think we don't hold the line. We crush it with that. And the reason we crush it,
Well,
the
I
reason
want to
we
remove my ego.
And the reason why our group crushes it is because we have the most experience, the better agents that understand how the process works, right? So if you think about it, it kind of has to be hand in hand. Now, I'm going to give you, this was the AI flipping the script on the coffee story. Okay, I just want to read this to you because I think it does have relevance. Imagine a buyer relocating to New York City, from a foreign country or anywhere. They don't know the neighborhoods, the schools, the market. They Google best realtors near me, and a list of 5 agents show up. One of the agents is a Remax with a dozen 5-star reviews, a polished website, and a strong social media presence. The others are relatively unknowns. Right? I mean, you said imagine in your mind and then make that your reality. Okay? I mean, it's not going to, the brand isn't going to be your brand, but it can support your brand, right? So if you're looking somebody up, and especially if you're coming from a different part of the world, most of these companies that, a lot of these are newer trending companies, they're nowhere globally. Okay, so we need to know our market. And what does this, mean to agents? Consumers don't always choose the best product or service. They choose the one they recognize, trust, and feel emotionally connected to. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that there may be a competitor that, is competent, a great agent. And they may be similar to you statistic wise, but having that association might be what puts us over the top, what connects our brand and elevates us slightly above the rest of the competition, right? We combine our personal strengths with the Remax brand. Who do you serve? How do you serve? We need to think about what makes us different. Um, why Remax can help make us stronger. Um, and I think, humanize, I think, there's a saying, people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. Anybody ever heard that one? right? You've heard that,
Yep.
right? And anybody ever hear, a picture is worth what?
1,000 words.
1,000
Right,
words.
1,000 words. And then if a picture is worth 1,000 words, what's a video worth?
A
Like
billion.
it's infinite. Okay. And, and I'm sure that this is, I'm gonna, share with you a couple of examples of things that I've seen that really have made an impression on me. And these are very, simple. They're humanizing videos. And, if you have them, I apologize. I'm just not familiar with them, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Let me just do this here. And I want you to think about while you're watching these, how hard were these to do and how does it make you feel? Okay, so just give me a quick second. Are you? Oh, here it is. And this is also in the handout or the attachment. Can you guys hear that or no?
No.
Let me try to reshare it again. It wasn't giving me the sound option.
Yeah, when it was on the bottom left, but it said mute when you hovered over it. Oh, no, it was telling you to mute. So maybe it's something in your computer that you need to.
There's a preference, Rob, in the settings that you have to set to pass it through the browser. I can't remember where it is here.
All right, let me try one more time. I'm going to guess it's not going to work again, but let's give it a shot.
You're right. It's not working.
All right, everybody has a homework assignment now.
Hey, Rob, if you want to
Let's
give
see.
me presenter access and move on, I'll try to get it going in the background here and then share it out when you're ready.
Yeah, let's see. Marnelli, are you on?
Yes, Rob.
Can you give Glenn presenter access for me, please?
Anyone can share the screen, Rob.
Oh, so
Cool.
anyone can share it now.
Okay, just give me a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if Steve or Catherine or is anybody on the Morris agent on besides Glenn? I want to let Glenn focus on getting that up. Anybody else on the Morris agent here?
I'm here, Rob. Steven.
So Steven, thanks for showing up and giving me permission. How long did it take to do that video?
It was a couple of years ago now, but I know it wasn't long. I mean, 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes, right? Maybe you had to take it twice or 3 times and professionally edit it. But I've been in this business a really long time, and I think that makes me connected to you as a consumer without having to even met you, because it tells your story, and it tells it with a minute and 4-second video, right? That's going to give you an advantage. And you know what? If there are some people that are going to look at it and say they don't like you, I think it's going to be a minimum, but they're not going to work with you anyway, even, so this puts you like a million, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, like a million words. It's like so much time and effort that you've been able to build into your personal brand
I've been blessed.
by expressing yourself publicly. So Glenn, you got it?
Still working on it here. Just give me a minute more.
And Glenn, you've
Growing up,
one of many of my hobbies by having to do everything in AI. I can hear it, but I don't see it on your screen.
Yep, I've got it. Just give me 1 sec. I got a couple windows open. I want to not show. You got it?
Does anyone else have?
been able
Yep, go ahead.
to
Yep, looks good.
our area has to offer. From the amazing lakes to the rolling mountains and access to New York City, we really do have it all. I've been in real estate for many years, but starting at a young age has helped me tremendously as I'm able to bring a unique perspective to the home buying and selling process. It's often said that real estate is 10 years behind technology, and we are here to change that. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or renting, I'm well versed to help you accomplish your goals. For buyers, I always like to sit down, go over the process, and come up with a unique plan that suits your specific wants and needs. As a seller, I will walk you through each step of our comprehensive and deliberate listing process to ensure you feel comfortable and understand that the marketing and service we provide is light years ahead of our competition. For investors, I treat your investment as if it's my own. Go through each property individually and walk you through the calculations to ensure they suit your long or short-term needs. My goal is to give my client a level of service that's far beyond anything they've ever experienced. I know my past clients will.
You want to hit Catherine?
Yeah, if you want to put Catherine's on too, I would love to show that one.
I was born in Parsippany, New Jersey, and I currently live in Rockaway. My great-grandfather, Francis X. Downey, was mayor of Parsippany, and my grandmother, Mary Downey, was a volunteer for the fire department. Service to my town and my community is in my blood, and I'm no different. I'm a current member of the Women's Club in White Meadow Lake, and I'm a member of the PTA at my son's elementary school. I am married to my high school sweetheart, Christian, and we have 2 beautiful children together. We purchased our home in 2015 when we were both 23 years old. During the process of finding our home, I fell in love with real estate, and I knew that this is something I wanted to do. Before I became an agent, I worked as a corporate account specialist for a major marble and granite company. Servicing the tri-state area, logistics, and customer service were my specialty. Because of my past career, I am proficient in identifying kitchen, fireplace, and bathroom surfaces and helping my clients determine the best care for them. I've helped all different clients find homes, from first-time buyers to seasoned sellers. If you ask me what I love, it's being able to see my client's face after the closing. For the majority of people, buying a home is the largest purchase that they will ever make. I am so fortunate to be able to guide my clients through the process and help them find their perfect home. My past clients mean the world to me. Having them trust me to facilitate the purchase or sale of their home is such an honor, and I truly appreciate each and every one of my clients. Some of my past clients have become like family to me, and I know that we will be lifelong friends.
Now, what are your reactions to those two simple 1-minute videos?
They're excellent.
Does anybody else have their team member do stuff like that? I mean, don't you feel, Jason, like you already know Catherine after that video?
No, it's personable, it's energetic, it shows a base of knowledge, it's got a lot of B-roll to it, so it keeps you engaged. Yeah.
And yet,
Makes
how many
it more
people do you,
confident in a blind referral too.
Yeah.
so does anybody have a like a 1-minute promo video like that you've had at least appropriately edited that you can share with people?
Well, I did till I saw those.
You said you didn't?
I did. But
Oh,
it's
but
not good enough now. Now I got to go back to the editing boards.
okay. But I mean, isn't that something that's not terribly burdensome to do and probably has a high impact?
Yeah, because you already felt like both of them cared about you. It wasn't all about them, but it was about focusing on the buyer and seller, and that they're coming in caring with knowledge and experience.
The bad video on anyone on your team, that it really humanized them. Beth, like I really feel like that's it's just so much extra impact with so minimal amount of effort, and that enhances your brand.
Yeah, and there's no thought of, well, I wonder how much they're going to charge. It's more of, I bet I'm going to get the result I need with these people because I feel like they're going to care about what happens.
Even to the fact that that Catherine bought a house at age 23. Don't you think that's going to influence some of the clients that are probably associated around her to say, hey, I can do that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, she seems like a very relatable, authentic, real person.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially now, feel like that buying a home is out of reach. And she's telling them right now that it isn't out of reach. It can be done at a young age. I bought mine when I was 26.
So,
I know people have done it earlier than that.
wouldn't that be nice to put in a get to know you type of video? Hey, I bought my house when I was 26. It was probably one of the best financial decisions you've made. And then you can kind of share that and say, hey, I'm passionate about helping people, get started in their home ownership journey, whatever is authentic to you. And that just gives you a leg up. I mean, I don't know how anybody watching that video, comparing them to 5 other people, would even take another appointment. Right. So those are things that I think are building your personal brand, and in the Morris agent team, you have the reinforcement of, your own personal business, your reputation, your ability to communicate there. You have the power of the team and the Remax organization. So you're like, triply associated with an ability to empower or to strengthen your brand without doing a whole lot of extra work. So let me and what was your take on like Catherine's like niche after listening to her video? Like what would be her specialty?
Kitchens and bathrooms, some of the most important things that people look for in a home.
And how about even just like getting started, right? She did it at 23. She's inspiring me. And what about Steven's video? Like Steven, what plays out in my head, it's like whether you're buying, selling, or investing. And I think a lot of times people don't talk about investing. So like if I'm a homeowner already and now I see, Steve's introductory video, I might say, maybe I should talk to him about, my wife and I were thinking about investing. Let's have him over and have that conversation. All right. Other niches that, we can do and even highlight there is, and Glenn, are you still on?
I am.
You know, Tim, in Tim's video, doesn't he talk about his service
Yes,
and his commitment to helping veterans and his passion for that, right?
he does. Yeah.
And how much of his business is consistent or congruent with that vision that he has? Is it 20%, 70%?
He only did one non-veteran deal this year.
Out of how many?
He's at 15 million.
15 million. So that is power, and that's building on the brand. And I'm sure Tim doesn't say, I don't want to work with you if you're not, but the people find him, right? Because that's the vibe that he puts out. So I think we need to do an introspective look at what do we really want to specialize in, because Tim is not putting out there that, hey, I'm your luxury specialist, I'm your investment specialist. His is, I exist to serve the veteran community and help them out. And, something in his DNA is programmed to help him do that. Right. And, Glenn, when you started out selling, what was your one or two things?
Fireman.
Look at that. No hesitation. And how much of your business was through that community?
30% today still. So it's always been.
Right. So, I think everybody would be served well by, figuring out what their niche is, what they want to build upon, so you're the go-to person for those type of things. All right. So here's like the step that I think, we need to do is we need to, pick our niche, first-time buyers, luxury homes, investors, new construction, relocation, fire, military, whatever. Craft a mission statement, right? I help veterans achieve home ownership through education. I help firemen achieve firemen and women achieve home ownership through access to products to help them buy when they think they might not be able to. Align your content, right? So when you put out content, be intentional and be specific that you're putting out content that is not confusing the message, but it's reinforcing, what your core belief is. And I think we've talked about this before, is using storytelling and case studies, right? People can relate to other successes, other outcomes that we've had. I've used storytelling to help agents get, listings at better prices or listings in areas where we may not be the logical choice, but we had a good story to tell about a prior experience and a prior success. Specialization isn't about limiting your business. It's about amplifying your impact. I really like that quote. I don't know whose that was. Thank you, AI. But specialization isn't about limiting your business. I only work with firefighters. It's amplifying your impact that you have. When agents define who they serve best, they become the go-to expert. That's how personal branding becomes powerful and profitable. The 7 different now I would just, if you're spending an hour with me today and you don't have time, log off right now and figure out what your niche is, what your specialization is, so you can build a story around it. Right? Because if you go through this whole webinar and you don't take any action, I think it's edutainment, right? Maybe this is interesting, but if you don't take action, it's not education, it's entertainment. And I'll call it edutainment. Next week, I think our mastermind is going to be focused on the 7 differentiators in real estate. And, those are product, like what do you specialize in? What is your unique experience? Process, how do you deliver it? Price, what does it cost? Experience, marketing, technology, and then your personal brand. Okay, these are the 7 differentiators that consumers look at. Okay, so specialization or product, process, how do you deliver? Pricing, experience, marketing, technology, and personal brand. Now, when do you think number 3 becomes most relevant or important? The pricing. Anybody?
I would say the end. You got to build the trust first.
So pricing becomes an issue when you lack the other 6 items, right? If you lack, the other items, the only thing that you're going to focus on is how cheap can you deliver it, right? But if you have built intentionally, if you're intentionally building and focusing on the differentiators that the public looks for, then price doesn't even matter. We had an agent call me, and they said, look, I anticipated this to be a really difficult transaction. It was a $1.6 million sale. I helped them clean the house out. I helped them stage it. I anticipated, because the house was older, that would have to kick in some money because of home inspection issues, right? And it was a 6% commission. They were charging 3.5 and putting out 2.5. And they literally called me up and said, Rob, I feel guilty. Should I knock 0.5% off the commission? And I'm like, well, did you mislead them when you took it? No. Do you think that your service was? No. So, it's closed. Client satisfied, and price didn't matter. Does that make sense? Because I don't think the public knows. I think they look at it, they say, here's this fee for doing a service. And absent understanding what's being delivered, it all looks the same, right? Does that make sense? How many of you have gone above and beyond and have like crazy stories about what you've done to get a property closed, and that there's probably else in the marketplace that people that.
Are you there?
Does anybody do anything? Yeah, was I going out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you broke up a lot.
Okay. So I was talking about one of our agents. I'll go real quick if you heard it. One of our agents called me up and said, Rob, $1.6 million sale. I charged 3.5% because I helped stage it, clean it out, do all this stuff. And I also wanted to have money to kick in the event that there were inspection items because the house was old. tough transaction. Professional agent got it through, and before the closing said, you know, these are a dear couple. I feel a little bit guilty charging 3.5%. Should I reduce the commission 2 days before the closing? And, you know, my comment back was, were you clear when you had described what your cost was? And did you deliver or exceed what you committed to do? Both those answers were a resounding yes. And the transaction closed. I don't think the seller's like, wow, I paid, you know, I don't know, an extra 20 grand to my agent than the other agent got. I don't think they say, hey, wow, that was a lot of money to pay for a $1.6 million sale. I think they're going to say that my agent made it smooth and simple and price didn't matter because the service was superior. Right. And that highlights the fact that within the 7 differentiators, the less of those differentiators that you can highlight, the more price becomes the relevant factor. Does that, did you all hear me? I see you, Gary. Did you hear me good there, Gary Greenacre? Yes?
Yes, did hear you.
Sure.
And Gary, did you ever go out on a listing and price didn't, like your fee didn't even matter? You said it, they didn't flinch?
Oh yeah, no, I would say quite a few of them. It's a lot in your presentation and how you know, go about presenting and that. So.
And do you think that, you know, maybe some newer agents where they feel price is going to be an issue, they bring it upon themselves, right? They open that door for the semi tractor trailer to drive through and have that price discussion.
Yep.
Correct?
Correct. Yes.
So I beg you all to just revisit your value proposition to build upon, you know, those differentiators that the public is looking for and figure out how, and you don't need to go through and you know, beat them over the head with everything that you're doing. You just need to identify with listening skills and communication skills what's most relevant to, you know, your individual client that you're working with. So what do you think the biggest differentiator is from the perspective of the public, especially in the light of somebody that you've never worked with before?
I'd say probably experience.
Experience?
Yep.
Who has, let's get some other opinions from some of you that are on here. Dan Gagnon, what do you think?
Integrity.
Integrity. How about you, Bill?
Honesty.
I think personal referral too is a really good indicator. If you're being referred by another RE/MAX agent.
I think it's how you make them feel when you are with them, building that relationship and that trust factor from the moment you step in the door.
I think one of the big ones that a lot of people forget is connection. They're people too.
I agree. That's where the stories come in.
Yeah. My father used to tell me, a good firm handshake is always good as well. Kind of old school, but.
Yeah,
that's true.
True.
That's true.
It is true.
Now, and those are all great and valid observations. Do any of us go into like the process after, like you kind of future pace and like, hey, after we, you know, launch your listing or after we start your home search, here's how the process works, and have a Loctite, rock solid process that is worthy of using as a differentiator?
True.
So who talks about that in the client engagement?
I definitely talk about it, and I actually have it written down and hand it to them so they know what to expect once I walk out the door. I did go on one listing appointment that is just really strong in my memory because they were interviewing 3 agents and I was the 3rd agent. He told me I was the only one who had a marketing plan, what to expect afterwards, and that I looked like I was professional and had the integrity to work through his transaction. He goes, by the way, the last guy that came in looked like he was delivering a pizza. So that was the part that was kind of funny and not funny, because that not only gives realtors a bad name, but I mean, that's our competition, which is fantastic. That's the funny part. But we can't do that. We have to remember not to look like that and not to present ourselves like that. We're serious about it, and it's a business, not a club.
Yep. Is Rob
Hey,
Garver
Rob?
still on? I can't. Yeah.
I'm here.
Go ahead.
I'm here, Robert.
Okay, somebody was saying, "Hey, Rob," I didn't know who that was.
It's Paul Texera.
Hey,
So
Paul.
just tying all this in is, I feel that the relationship, you can do everything before and after. And I think it all comes together as a relationship. But I think if you establish a relationship with the client, or they're gonna, that you might not even know about there. And I'm gonna share an example of what's going on right now with myself and Marco Mello out of the Florida office. I had a client from up here, and we're working a commercial deal down in Opelika, Florida. I didn't even know this town existed, right? And I have a customer from up here who said, I'm trying to schedule the appointment for him to go see the property. He says, well, we'll go whenever you can make it here, Paul. So, I don't know anything about Opelika. Marco does. And, but my customer wants me there because of our relationship. So it all comes down to relationship, I think, ultimately.
And Paul, you're a call as soon as I get back, and Paul Teixeira is the team leader in our Newark office. And when I was in Portugal and Spain, Remax is huge, massive, and we need to figure out how to exploit that to build your team brand on a massive level in your community there, Paul.
I've already had a few offices in Portugal reach out to me to create a partnership. One in the north and one in Lisbon, in Lisbon.
So in Lisbon, like, I've seen more Remax offices than all other offices combined, Paul. So for some reason there's a massive impact there, and your community, and I know in I think in Brazil Remax is massive as well, right?
They're growing a lot now as well, yeah. And Marco Mello he's in the Parkland office now, has a good connection to a lot of people from down there. Marco Mello went to Brazil's first Remax conference for all of Brazil, and he went to their conference, and I don't know if he's on the call. I'm over here promoting him, but he went to the conference first Remax conference in Brazil, and that he got a lot of referral business from there.
Yeah, and I know some of our agents, some of our team members go to the Canadian conferences as well to get that referral business vibrant and coming back down. I wanted to I want to play off of Sharon Beth's comment a moment ago about the way you carry yourself and the way that they were dressed and not looking like a pizza delivery person. And I know Mr. Garver has been very generous in sharing this story, but we have so many new faces on here. I don't know if Robert Garver is still on or if he's off this week.
No, I'm here. I'm here, Rob.
So, Rob Garver, can you share that story? You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yes. So,
Okay.
this is several years back when occasionally you might even be able to present your offer directly to the seller in person. I had a buyer. I asked the listing agent if I could present the offer in person, and I was surprised by his response when he said sure. And so we all met at the seller's house. I walked in, as I always do, or did at that point in time, in a suit and tie. And he walked in a tracksuit. And so we sat down, and I presented my offer to the seller, and they asked questions, and we had a really great conversation. And at the end of which they said, okay, well, we're just going to talk with our agent and get back to you. And then as we all got up to leave, the seller said to their agent, how come you're not dressed like he is? And he was like, well, my office, we do things differently. And she said to him, well, maybe you should go to his office and dress like you mean it. So that was a little embarrassing for him, but strangely enough, he and I have become good friends over the years, and we laugh about that from time to time.
Yep. And now I think it's virtually impossible to go physically present an offer in any of our markets. It'd be an incredible oddity to do that. However, one of our agents, and we're back to the Glenn thing, is Glenn, do you still do the video with your offers that the lazy listing agents forward to their sellers?
I haven't submitted an offer without a video in 5 years. Even if it was in a parking lot of a
Glenn,
restaurant.
Could you just so Glenn, can you explain how that works?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the outcome first because I love your future pacing conversation and something I didn't do a lot of before until when I go out on listing appointments, I record on an AI device on my wrist the listing appointment, and then I plug it into AI and ask me to rank me and tell me what I could do better. And it noted future pacing, which I'd never used that term before, Rob, and you're using it is pretty cool. But it said in my AI, selling now is a commodity, selling the future is a gift. So if you walk away with anything that Rob taught today, if you're selling right now, you're going to be outsold because the gift is what people want. So with that said, so when we do the video, I can tell you if I've won a deal before I get a call from the agent, because when I submit the video, the agent watches the video 100%. And then if they're a lazy agent, they'll watch it 25%. And I know I've pretty much lost the deal. If the agent watches 100%, they'll then forward the video on to their client, and I'll see 5 to 7 views. If I get 5 to 7 views, I've won the deal every single time. Hasn't failed yet. And so before the call even comes in, I know that I've won the offer. The composition of the video is really simple. I'm a full-time hands-on agent. I get to the closing table, take a look at my Zillow reviews, and I explain the offer to them point by point, and also any unique aspects of it that would be related. I look at it like I'm presenting to them in person. That's how I make the video.
And that is the modern day version of what Mr. Robert Garver talked about having that opportunity to present in person, because it gives you the impact, Glenn, and it gives you tremendous scale as well, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. And I like being in the know, right? I like to know if I won before I won.
And I've witnessed this when I've visited Glenn in his office in Boonton, but you're probably more popular than the mayor with people knowing you because of the video. You walk down the street, people are waving to you. I'm like, Glenn, who is that? I don't know. It's pretty impactful, and I'm just sharing that because number one, I've witnessed it, and I think it's truly amazing. I think a lot of people feel like they know you, Glenn, that probably don't really truly know you. Is that accurate?
Yeah, when I get a hug from somebody, it's kind of weird sometimes, but it is what it is.
And Rob, I just wanted to say that on a separate occasion that I was able to present in person, when we were finished with the negotiations and everybody got up and walked out of the house, the seller came up to me separately and said, I wish I had met you before I listed my house, because I would have felt much better about it had you been the one in charge of my listing.
Rob, I have a question for Glenn.
Go ahead.
Do you send this video to the agents as a text message or as an email? How do you send this video?
As a part of the offer. So my offer is in the body of the email, and the video is embedded in the email.
Oh, okay.
And you moved from BombBomb to a different solution, correct?
Actually, I went back to BombBomb, but I'm going back to the other solution. BombBomb's aggravating me, but it doesn't matter. The solution's irrelevant. BombBomb or Dub, those are the two that you're going to want to use. And my rule is if you're not going to make 30 videos a month, don't buy them. It's not worth it. Not worth the money.
Why can't you just make the video holding your cell phone and speaking to them directly?
Because you can't embed it properly in the email and have it look like it's in motion. If you give me a second here. You probably have one because it's how it presents that's different.
Something else that Glenn didn't say in that, but you also can't track it. If you record it on your phone and you send it, you have no idea if they've opened it. You have no idea if they forwarded it. Glenn's right. If you're using one of those two platforms, you can see every time someone opens that video, which is pretty awesome. I didn't think about that.
And while Glenn's looking for that, I don't know if it's even that relevant if he's able to share it, but what it does is you don't even have to click on it when you open up the email. It plays in the background, correct, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go right to BombBomb because I'm having a hard time finding the email. But I'll show you what one looks like here.
So for those of you who are newer to the company, this might be your first or second mastermind. You don't get overwhelmed because you're not doing a lot of this stuff. It's, take one or two things and just try to implement it in the next month or 3 months. And then before you know it, in a year or two, you'll have connected 7 or 8 of these processes into your business, and it will have a tremendous impact. Go ahead, Glenn. Explain what's going on there.
So this is what it looks like when it's in the body of an email. So it gives a 3-second GIF that lets you do it. And then when they click it, it'll actually play.
Hey Jen, Glenn Baker here. Hey, I'm making an offer on your awesome unit at Foxwood, and I want to let you know the details of the offer here. So first and foremost, $400,000 is our offer. This is a conventional loan. My buyer is waiving all inspections. They're for information purposes only, as long as the repairs do not exceed $15,000. We can give you a right to remediate if you'd like to insert that in there. That's not a big deal. He's not looking for credits. He's just looking to get the home. He's aware that he's going to make some updates, and he loved the unit. With regard to inspections, we accelerated them to 10 days. And I want to also note that this is a contingent sale. Let me give you the details on that. So the contingent sale is on 31 Hillary in Mount Olive. We did our open house this Sunday, had about 50 visitors to the open house between 2 days. We have multiple offers right now, highest and best for noon on Thursday.
So that kind of gives you the gist of it, Rob, there. I couldn't do that in an email, right? Like, you can't describe a contingent sale in an email. And I can tell you, I do a lot of listings. When I get things and they're not explained, they've lost. You're not even in the consideration set.
And Glenn, did you ever get an email with 4 or 5 paragraphs? Like, who even reads it?
I have a rule, Rob. I read the first 2 lines. If it's more than that, you haven't told me your story, right?
You haven't been impactful.
And the magical thing about this, Rob, is that forget that I might lose an offer. I don't win every offer, but the agents in those offices take it around and show all the other agents, and all of a sudden they all know my face now. So when I submit an offer, they feel like they've known me, but they really don't know me. I've had that happen before. And one office I called, they had the broker in the room and they were all clapping their hands on the video. And I'm like, they're going to remember me for the next one for sure, right? That's the impression we want to make.
Have you gotten any offers back with videos?
Rare.
Your listings?
Rare. Only my team members and one other one. I'm lucky if I get an offer that's in a single PDF.
or that even makes sense, or they even call you to tell you that it's in your inbox. That's how low the standard kind of has gotten.
Yeah, and the effect on the other side, Rob, is so powerful to the seller, right? That they see a human being on the other side. It's not just an offer on paper, and you can walk the line of fair housing, describing what you're going to do for your client without it really disclosing it, right? You just can't do that on an email. I laugh when I get some of these 1-page, I tell you all about my offer emails, because I'm like, dude, I could get that in the email. I want to know if you're going to close the damn deal. Like, that's all I care about. So yeah, I just put it that way. The video kills. My ratio is 1 to 3. For every 3 offers I make, I win 1.
And who knows how much of communication is nonverbal?
60%.
90%.
90, the generally accepted number is 93%.
Right.
So Glenn, you've amplified yourself by a magnitude of 17 by putting a video, because you have the emotional expression, the body language, the tonality,
The
all put
cute
in there,
face.
all put in there with the words. And according to Terry, a cute face.
I've never heard that before, but but Rob, I just use it on the one side, right? So you're talking about offers. I literally use it for all my listings, right? So the video that you have here is a listing video, and I tell the person I bring it up.
Two things. So in this email, you'll see two links. One is for the comps,
And
and one is
You see the
for
background?
actual
I'm doing this
presentation.
at an open house when there's no visitors.
Just that you know.
So, but I literally bring up
Mark
my
the
comps
buyer
and
unit.
walk them through my pricing and my comparisons.
Comparisons.
It works every time. I called up and the guy said, "I'm done. When are we signing?"
So the final takeaway is, even if you're an eloquent writer, people may not read it. And even if they do read it, they're only getting 7% of the communication, the opportunity to communicate and have impact. So
They
you can read tonality, and I would even say body language over the phone as well. Not as good as video, but you know, the way that you communicate over the phone is 10 times better than an email or a text. And I know a text is convenient and tempting, but pick up the phone and call them. If it's important, make the call, right? So any final questions before we wrap for the week?
Rob, do you mind if I say something real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
One thing that I definitely have connected with is the power of our brand, and something that shows the pride and just kind of reminded me my own pride in the brand was yesterday, within an hour span of each other, I had two of my best friends send me photos, one of a Remax open house sign in Anchorage, Alaska, that he just moved to. And he said, "Been thinking about you, buddy. Really miss you. Saw this popping up. Must be a sign to text you." And the other one was my buddy's driving through Payson, and he told his dad to pull over in Payson, Arizona, to pull over at the Remax so he could take a photo of the sign and send it to me. He said, "Just found this in Payson, thinking about you." The power of our brand is something that is emanating from all of us in every conversation that we have, to the point where two of my best friends are, the only way they're thinking of me is by seeing these Remax signs and just randomly sending to me. It was funny. It was within an hour of each other without me asking or anything. So it kind of struck something in me that ask your sphere of influence, ask your friends that travel. If you see that Remax sign, drop one of my cards off at their office. I've now connected with that Anchorage Remax. I said, "My buddy sent me your sign." And she was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And now I have a referral partner in Anchorage, Alaska that I didn't have previously. We've already had a 45-minute conversation yesterday. So the power of our brand is something that we can harness through other people as well. As long as you're still promoting it, as long as you're still Remax proud, people are going to start seeing that, and people are going to start relating you with Remax to the point where you're going to be able to use them to get your name out there in different areas of our country and the world. Honestly, I know Rob's in Spain right now. I bet there's a Remax over there you can stop in at. We can all take the 15, 20 minutes to make that drive to a Remax office. It's like the saying in Florida is that you're always an hour away from the beach, right? For our Florida offices,
Yep.
always an hour away from the beach. You're always close to a Remax office.
So, Wilson, thank you. And my final message is that, price only matters absent the demonstration of value. Okay. And a business that's based solely on price is a commoditized business that's probably not even worth being in. So we at Remax and Remax Select Group deliver a tremendous amount of value. We just need to improve our communication skills. We need to introspectively look at, what's going to be our specialty? What are we going to talk about? What are we going to be the best at, the most confident when we have a conversation, so that we can earn what we're worth. Everybody have a fantastic weekend and enjoy the fleeting days of summer. All right. Bye, everybody.
Safe travel.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.